Hello, people. This is Emilio from Dev Films, and now we start the series with me reviewing war movies. On these reviews, there will be spoilers, and the first review of this series will be a Hollywood war movie, and it's going to be Fury. The movie came out 2014 and is directed by David Ayer. Starring in it are Brad Pitt, Logan Lerman, Shia LaBeouf, Michael Pena, and Jon Bernthal. They are the crew of the tank they call Fury, hence the name of the movie. So the movie takes place during April 1945 in Germany, so it's at the end of World War II, and the Allies are fighting the remaining Nazi forces, which is the most fanatical resistance where every German is supposed to fight, adults and children alike, and if they don't, they get executed. So the movie starts off with that Fury is the last remaining tank after a battle, and the last one of their crew members. So when they get back to the base, they have to get a new crew member, which is Norman, played by Logan Lerman. Norman has only been 8 weeks in the army and was trained to type in an office, so right from the start he's the odd one out from the crew. So this movie has a pretty gritty feel to it, which I like personally a lot, and it portrays the war more realistically too when it comes to the style of it. It's more dirty, it's with mud everywhere and bodies scattered, and it's grey and dark. And it doesn't hide the gore either, which war movies shouldn't. So after Norman joins the crew, they get set out on a new mission. And immediately we understand that Norman isn't cut out for this environment. He's unexperienced and untrained. So after a battle where Norman is the odd one out, where he doesn't want to shoot or kill anyone, which is, you know, it makes sense for someone that's not used to all of this. And Brad Pitt takes this personally and he decides to teach Norman what he's supposed to do. So against Norman's will, Brad Pitt makes him shoot a German prisoner. After some fighting, they capture a town, and our characters seem to get a break from the war. Norman and Brad Pitt find themselves in an apartment with two women. In the beginning, it's tense, but eventually they start to get along. Until the rest of the crew shows up and ruins the calm. In this scene, we understand what the war has done to them, and that they have seen some horrible things, which the actors did a great job portraying. Most of the crew have gone mad, except Brad Pitt trying to hold it together and Norman still being unexperienced. Things get ugly and it gets tense again, but they get interrupted for a new mission. All the tanks have been sent to Berlin except them and three other tanks, and they have to defend a crossroad against an unknown number of Germans. And if they fail, the whole division's supplies will be destroyed, and thus halting the advance of the Allies. This feels a little bit stupid on how they couldn't anticipate an attack on their supply lines, and especially that they only have four tanks to defend it against an unknown number of Germans. On their way to the crossroads, they get ambushed by a German Tiger tank, and it's a good fight and it's well made, but somehow it reminded me of World of Tanks. I don't know. And either way, the other three tanks get destroyed, and they are the remaining force left. So we got five remaining guys against an unknown enemy of Germans, could be hundreds of them. They're first unsure if they want to defend the crossroads, but they decide to make a final stand against the odds. So here's where the movie goes into a more Hollywood action than realistic combat. Earlier the tank was struck by a tank mine and immobilized. So the Germans have an upper hand in this fight where they easily could outflank the vehicle and take it out, especially when this tank doesn't have any defenses on its back. But instead they run blindly into fire, not taking cover and not using their anti-tank weapons we clearly see them having in the scene before. And eventually they use them though, but then it's too late, and when they use them, they miss almost every shot. Eventually the crew runs out of ammo and they are taken out one by one. So eventually it's only Brad Pitt and Norman left. The Germans throw in two grenades and Norman escapes through a hatch. Then he waits there a while and the Germans leave. So he climbs back into the vehicle and what we see is the corpse of Brad Pitt, but it's almost unharmed by the two grenades that just landed right beside him. So this movie has a lot of cliches and it's pretty predictable also. Here we're gonna go through some cliches that this movie has. Hardened leader with an unknown pre-war history who has a private emotional breakdown. Young replacement who struggles to fit in with seasoned veterans but wins them over in the end. Soldier falls in love with local girl only to watch her die. A final mission with impossible odds. Mow no doubt when facing certain death, but where everyone decides to stick together in the face of certain death. Retarded enemy is almost defeated, only to remember how to do war, and only after our team has completed their emotional bonding and character development. One member escapes death against all odds. Enemy soldier shows mercy by not revealing hiding soldier. So, even after all these cliches and predictable moments, I still think it's an okay movie. I don't know why, but I enjoyed the movie somehow. So, all in all, an okay war movie with good combat scenes, except the last one being unrealistic but entertaining. It has a great visual style and good acting, even from Shia LaBeouf, who apparently didn't shower for the role. And it keeps the viewer interested in what's happening, and I have to say that the music of this movie is good and rememberable. So if you're interested in World War II and the invasion of Germany, give this movie a watch. But don't expect much realism in it or what it takes to be a tanker. And the movie does portray the World War II a little bit black and white. But if you want to see a simple war movie with simple story, simple characters, and I don't know, simple entertainment, watch it.